We are so much more than what we deem of ourselves. We think we understand the ins and outs of truth. What's right, what's wrong, what's good, what's bad. But it's the fearless dance that continues to call from within. The pure creative self drumming, pulsating, pulling us, calling us home. We know this voice. This is why, despite our thinking selves' best effort to flood our thoughts with duality, we continue to sing, to dance, to cry, to build, to share, to create. We are not that little voice inside our head. We are the watchers of our story, the masters of our destiny. We are storytellers.
I love stories, so I feel like I can trace it back to when I was a really little girl and I would fall asleep, asking my mom to leave the light on, and I would tuck all these books under my pillow and I would just steal time to read, fairy tales or Nancy Drew or whatever it might be, and then my mom would come and be like, "You're not sleeping." I'm first generation Indian American. I was born in Mumbai and we came here when I was really young. And when it came to studying and choosing a career, the arts weren't on the horizon for me, so to speak, because it was supposed to be law or engineering or medicine. And I took my first theater elective and I loved it. And it was the first time that I was passionate and self-disciplined about something. The biggest breakthrough, breaking out of poetry and short stories and really writing theater, happened because I went on a trip to India in 2009. Not as happy thing happened. I got assaulted at a meditation center while I was there. And I think as a creative, when I came back from that trip, so much had transpired that the only way I had to really work that out was through creating something. And so I wrote all my stories and tied them together in a solo show that I now perform called Motherland. Me telling this story is helping other women and maybe other men in the world look at things differently, and they're understanding how much it's important not to be a part of the culture of silence. I was scared to share my story of the assault because the place that I was assaulted it was a meditation center attached to a very large Hindu temple in India. So it's like filing a complaint against the Catholic Church. And when I was trying to get out of there, I filed a complaint against this man in India. My dad was terrified that we were going to get killed. And so we essentially fled, just accepting that there was some part of me that felt like, oh, I can't tell this part of my story because it will hurt my family or it will hurt myself or people will look at me a certain way, that I was doing my own form of victim shaming on myself. And so I think telling the story got rid of that. I wish there was a time I was performing this piece where there wasn't a woman or man in the audience that would come up to me after or email me after and say, I too have been through an assault, or someone in my family was raped, or I'm facing, X, Y, or Z issue that you brought up in your play. And it's just made me realize that it's so important for us to tell our stories, because I think stories just really promote conversation. And right now, just unfortunately, because of the political environment we're in, I feel really muzzled. And I think what I'm finding is a lot of people are feeling the same way. So having a story by, someone that they can identify with as a woman or a woman of color or a rape survivor, like, people need to have conversations. There's a really old Rumi quotation, the wound is where the light enters. And I think that is very true. And the basis for a lot of stories that we connect to. Everyone is a storyteller. Every single person has that, and every person has a very important story to share. And it is vital to do it.